And we're live. We're back.
All right, John, it's good to see you again, man. Every week, it's good to see you.
Man. Good to see you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, man. You can't see it, but I'm wearing some green PT shorts, my old Marine Corps PT shorts. So I'm not going to do the world a favor and stand up and flex them, but just know that they're there. Oh, look at that.
My Irish suit on today.
You know, I always enjoyed those shirts with the bow ties.
Yeah.
I've always envisioned myself wearing one of those to like a wedding or something just to wear it. They're hilarious, man.
Just to be a wedding crasher.
I've seen some that where you can wear they're like Marine Corps uniforms or like military uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Those are hilarious. Imagine showing up to like a military ball with one of those on, like with all your medals and stuff.
Be on Army WTF Facebook instantly.
Oh God, that's funny. I gotta find one of those. Stolen valor, right? I gotta. If those don't exist yet, I'm gonna make one, man.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing for a merch store.
Oh yeah,
awesome. I think nobody.
Nobody would. Like it would cost too much money. You'd have to like make it personalized to everybody's different medals, right? Or yeah. It's no bueno, man. Probably not a good business idea.
But you track the metric of how many you didn't sell. That's your success rate.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, what's been going on?
It's been going, man. Just if you haven't noticed here, I've got a little something set up behind me. Started throwing some things up there, started clearing out the garage, taking things out of boxes, and finally getting some stuff here. If remember when I told you the wife and I share this office, so it wasn't initially like that. This was supposed to be my entire like cave, but then she secured a remote position, and now I have to share my office. So I get like this much wall space. That's it, and then the rest is hers. So
nice.
But yeah, I mean, I got the stuff behind me, and I got more stuff coming. Putting shelves up and putting my books up here. There's going to be a whiteboard for like planning purposes. So that's a must, man. Any office I've ever had has had a whiteboard. Because my ideas just come and I'm like, let me just throw that up on the board so I don't forget it. It's cool to have a notebook and stuff, but I need that whiteboard.
Yeah, I'm still getting my office set up, but I think a whiteboard is going to be in order sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be shifting around, and I'll have a different background and a little bit better setup, and maybe some flashing neon YouTube lights in the background. Who knows?
Some techno music as soon as you walk in.
That's right. on a trigger on the door as soon as you open the door.
Oh no. Trying to grab my notebook here.
Yeah, go ahead. And for those who don't know, or if you're watching on YouTube on the vertical, if you're seeing it on like your shorts feed or something like that, same stream, just you'll only see me in there. You should hear the audio from both of us, but if you don't, just let me know. Just drop a comment, and we'll get it squared away for next time. I promise. I did some testing this week, and I think I got it figured out. So I was trying to figure out like how to stream to more ways than one without expanding the account a little bit. So
trying to game the system.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I was going into doing some research on some stuff this week, specifically like career-based things. Right. So if everybody out there who doesn't know, like I'm a contractor, but I would love to get into the federal system. The contracting gig is great, especially if you're trying to get your foot in the door with maybe some kind of government work. And it can be a somewhat of a nightmare to get your foot in that federal realm, right? That federal world, that GS world. And I've applied to, God, I don't know how many, 70 places so far. And I always get the email back saying that I've been referred to the hiring manager, or I've not been referred, right? But nothing ever happens after that. So I think a good way to kind of enter that world is to go through the contracting side first.
Mhm.
And that way you get to know folks. And for instance, I'll give you a good example. Again, I'm a contractor. I got to know the HR folks that work in my office. They asked me if I'm ever in the if I'm ever in the market to jump on some kind of a GS position. I said, absolutely. Well, let me put you on my list so that way you can be in the know on all the positions coming up because they are expanding the unit.
Mhm.
I'm like, that would be excellent. What better way to get in via a direct hire instead of trying to navigate and fight everybody else when some of these positions are open to the public. Some of them are veteran, specific. But even then, with the veteran specific ones, it's tough because how many people apply to these things? Like hundreds. And if yours doesn't stand out, it's a bad day for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out well. So yeah, definitely part networking, part getting to know your people in your unit or in your organization, and part going in as a contractor so you can do that. So that's been like my week. That was like one of the highlights of my week. Like, oh man, I'm on this guy's email chain now. He's gonna shoot out this information to all the folks on his list. So I'm pretty happy about that. I was pretty stoked about it because it is tough.
Yeah, it's real tough. Actually, it's funny you bring that up because I had one of the things queued up for what we're going to talk about. And yeah, I'll agree that you get a lot of different feedback on USA jobs, and even if you do get selected, a lot of times it's not forwarded to the hiring official, which means your resume was good enough, but you weren't actually forwarded. Your resume wasn't forwarded to the hiring official, right? It didn't meet specific criteria that were probably spelled out in the announcement that you maybe
Right.
passed over or gleaned over or didn't see the one little detail or didn't see it was only open for military spouses or something like that, right? So um, you want to you want to read those job descriptions really, really, really carefully and make sure you get all the little details. And hey, it's the government. There's people behind these things that are doing these things, so they're going to be spelling errors. They're going to be mistakes. They're going to be typos. If you have a question, just reach out to the usually there's an email address or something at the bottom of the announcement. You can reach out directly and say, hey, look, I figured this would include like a PCS move, but it doesn't state it in the description. Is this
Hmm.
the case or not the case, right? And they'll usually
Right.
respond back pretty quickly and let you know, like, oh yeah, we didn't get that included in the announcement. We're going to pull it down and repost it or whatever. But that, and then what I would say is just keep trying, keep trying. And like you said, if you can get in touch with the actual hiring manager or the HR people and get your foot in the door that way, you can do that in many ways. As you said, contracting is a great way to do it. I did that in Germany for a long time.
That's right.
You can also do it through volunteering, like I'm doing right now. I'm volunteering on base. Doing a lot of things with different organizations, with the PAO, hanging out with different people, and just getting to know people. And once you get to know people, then they're like, hey, Mary over in building 272 is actually the HR manager for this whole entire department. And she's been looking for quality people and they've been putting jobs out on USA Jobs, but they can't seem to hire people because they're not getting the right quality resumes that they want. And you can
That's right.
actually, talk to them directly and figure out if they can set up some kind of direct hire. We've mentioned that before on the podcast or something like that. So yeah, it's mainly just building relationships, right? It's building relationships, expanding your network, and then using your network to put you in the right place at the right time so that you can be in front of people who can potentially hire you, or you can even open the door for somebody else if you're in that position or if you're in a position that lines up with that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's all about who you know, really, and in the outside world. Your knowledge coupled with who you know is the right recipe. And I've also found that just plugging things in, like going on the federal, like on the USA Jobs job description, highlighting, copying and pasting what they're looking for, and then copying and pasting your entire resume onto like ChatGPT or like Google Gemini, and tailor a resume or a professional summary or a cover letter based on this resume for this job description. And it'll spit out something incredible, like an exact thing with keywords that you can put into, USA Jobs. And I found once I started doing that, I started getting more and more emails back saying, "Hey, you've been referred." But I'll report back on that because I've not gotten an actual interview yet. So
Yeah.
whether or not that actually works, I don't know. Or maybe they're just catching on. This fool is just using Chat GPT. We know what he's doing.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Facebook groups and things like that where people have
Right.
like snuck in their resume and they've put it in like a 1 point font and they've made it white so it just blends with the background of the page so you don't actually see it, and they take like the exact job description and paste it in there. They're actually looking for things like that, but so don't cheat the system for sure. Um, but then, sometimes it takes a while, like even after the announcement closes, sometimes it takes weeks and weeks, sometimes months for them to get back and start calling people on that list because they have to go back and go through the resumes and figure out who they want to call and interview. It's a long process,
That's right.
really
It
is. And
is.
then
It is.
once you get through the interview process, that could take, upwards of 6 to 9 to a year of just waiting for them to finish doing the HR stuff, or maybe they're waiting on the budget to be cut for the current fiscal year. And so getting a government job is sometimes easy, but a lot more times it's really a long wait. It's
It
definitely
is.
rewarding on the back end, I guess. If you get PCS to say Japan or somewhere where you really, really want to go,
Right.
but you're gonna have to wait it out, and you're gonna have to again contact those hiring managers and ask questions if you need to, if you feel like it's taking extensive amount of time. um,
Hmm.
Let me pull this thing up on the screen real quick and we'll talk about it. We do have a couple questions in the chat, so we can hit those as
Yeah.
well. But I was sent this by a friend of mine who works with the VA, and she sent me this post from the post 9/11 GI Bill U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Facebook
Hmm.
page group.
Right.
And they do have federal hiring webinars. So the first one starts on April 19th. The next one is going to be on May 17th, and the one after that is going to be on June 21st. And these are definitely, they haven't put out the information on how to sign up for it yet. You just go to
Hmm.
their site there and you can keep tabs on it. But these are definitely good ways to figure out and navigate and get through that thing. Because when we go through the process of transitioning out or going through the retirement process and uh, you know, the education part of it, of writing resumes and doing all this stuff, they touch on some of these things, and they even have people in some
Yeah.
of those departments who know what they're talking about as far as pull the job announcement down, pull these specific things out, and then mesh them together and figure out what the actual key metrics that they're looking for, or the KPIs
Yeah.
that they're looking for the job, and then tailor your resume based on those. But don't just drop them into your resume. You have to create some kind of narrative behind it. But
That's right.
um, these three things right here, for sure, federal resume writing and then navigating USA Jobs. I'm sure these are going to be really good webinars. So just be on the lookout for that. It's through this Facebook page group thing. I'll pull that up real quick. It's right here. And that's what you want to take a look at.
All right. Post 9/11 GI Bill, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. No, excellent information, man. And we're not scared to put other organizations out there who are actually helping veterans out or service members transitioning to the civilian side. We actually enjoy it. We love collaborating with things like this because it just helps everybody out in the mass. So I appreciate you putting that out there, John.
Mhm.
Really quick, I want to transition to one of the questions that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric Burris mentions, how do we best manage the balance between BDD starting at 180, CSP slash skill bridge starting no earlier than 180, and transition periods? Seems these two events overlap each other. So how do we best manage the balance between BDD starting at 180? Yeah, I got to think about that one, man. So everybody knows my skill bridge, or at least I've shared it on here. My skill bridge disaster. I didn't actually get a chance to go on skill bridge, so I signed up for it. It just didn't work out. Company never called me back. as far as the BDD starting at 180. And you got to expand on what CSP is, because I'm not sure exactly what CSP is. John, do you happen to know that?
I think it's a career skills program. Let me fact check that for you real
Okay.
quick.
Well, that might be like what some other services call it, maybe.
Yeah, career skills program, Army career skills program.
So I don't know how that works. Unfortunately, if somebody out there does know, jump in and share. Unless you have any information on that, John.
So I think the question is really trying to figure out how to manage the timeline for BDD if you start the skill
Mm,
bridge program, because usually start the skill bridge program 6 months out, right? Which is 180
that's right.
days.
Yeah,
The window for BDD starts at 180 to 90 days, right?
that's right. Yep.
So I think they're trying to figure out how they go about navigating that. If they started skill bridge and then they're also in the window for BDD. So I, from what I understand from the question, this is what I'll answer it with. I would say try to see if you can find a VSO that you can contact remotely. It doesn't have to be in person. If you can do one in person and you know you're going to a CSP or a skill bridge location, say in Kansas City, just go to the local base there in Kansas City if you can, or find a VSO locally in Kansas City that you want to work with. And then make sure you make that coordination before you make that move to that skill bridge program, because you'll be moving across the country to go in person more than likely to the skill bridge program. And that way you can stay in touch with them, contact them, be able to work with them. And then also on the other end of it, make sure you let the SkillBridge folks know, like, hey, there's going to be a couple days where I'm going to have to take an appointment to take care of this VSO stuff, to take care of my
Mhm.
benefits delivery stuff. You'll also have to take maybe a week or so of medical appointments for the follow-up, depending on when those come. So actually, those come before, right? Those come after they process your BDD paperwork within that 90 to 0 day time frame.
Mhm.
Right. So I think that's what the question is, and hopefully we answered it correctly. And if we didn't, go ahead and drop a follow-on question in the chat.
Yeah, we're all about getting good information out to folks. So if we don't know what the hell we're talking about, please jump in. Yeah, so I guess on SkillBridge, you're still active duty, right? You're just doing an internship
Correct.
with that company. So technically, I mean, doing your BDD process, going to medical and all that while you're on SkillBridge, that's one thing that I had mentioned, and that's probably why I never got the call back from the employer. It was a small employer fabrication shop. And I did mention to the gentleman, it was a CEO of the company that I met with, and I mentioned to the gentleman that I'm doing my VA claim, and I need to go to several VA appointments coming up, and I might have to miss out on several days, within a 2-week period. And he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can support that," but I never got the call back for the start, even though we shook hands on the start, and then I continue to call the guy back and email, and nothing ever happened, and I just never started. So I don't know if maybe he was, he didn't like the fact that I was going to be out of the office so long, or I don't know. But under my impression, you're still on active duty while you're on the skill bridge, so there should be a period of time where you should be able to go on to your medical appointments.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so Dawana Brown mentions all my VA appointments were done before I started my skill bridge. Okay, that makes sense, right? So when I submitted my BDD, like within a week or two, I got an email or a call. I can't recall which one it was, to start the whole VA medical stuff, and it was all within a 2-week period. Very very small period of time. And when I tried to reschedule one, they had mentioned, hey, if you try to reschedule it, it's going to be like probably pushing you outside of the BDD limits, because we can't reschedule for a few months or something. So I was kind of like painted into a corner to start it within the 2 weeks, or do all my medical stuff within those 2 weeks. So yeah, I can see what you're you're mentioning here. Yeah, all those things were done before she started her skill bridge. Let me see. Question from Chris Goose okay. Did I have any interaction with the Marine Executive Association transition seminars during my transition? I'll say no, I didn't. I went to a couple of job fairs. I met a few folks on there. A lot of the job fairs on the bases were kind of geared towards like the junior Marines getting out. So I kind of have to get points of contact from those folks for maybe like more corporate positions or executive positions, right? Because in my position in the Marine Corps, I was working with like senior level. I was a director of legal operations before I retired. So I was looking to get into something like that after the fact. But no, unfortunately, I didn't interact with the Marine Executive Association.
And we're all on the topic of it,
Yeah.
as far as the different things that you can do to get yourself prepared for the job market. We can actually pull this one up if you want. The 9 places transitioning veterans can get industry certifications for free in 2024. And we've actually talked about a couple of these on the show before. But if you're looking for this link, and I'll try to drop all the links in the chat. If I don't get one in there and you need one, just let me know. Just ping us and we'll drop it in the chat for you.
All right. Just give me 1 second here, John. As we are live, I still have things going on in the background. So just give me 1 second. I just got to grab something here.
Yeah, cool. I'll start digging through this. So this is there's a bunch of different sites out there. Military.com is a great one. They have a lot of information and it's military wide. It's not just one specific force. But I'm going to go ahead and mute you real quick if that's. Oh yeah, you're good.
All right. All good.
So this talks about a bunch of different things that are available as far as educational benefits, really leaning towards industry certifications and potentially different job training stuff. So first one, Military Cool. I think everybody's really heard of this, or at least I feel like everybody's really heard of it. But they give you access to money to perform and take these industry certification tests, and they pay for the credentialing as well as the maintenance fees. If you don't know, if you haven't ever taken an industry certification such as like Security Plus or Project Plus or PMP or any of those, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times you have to do so many continuing education credits every year, and those stack up over the year, and then you can turn those in to be able to extend the validity of the exam that you've taken or the certification that you've received. So and a lot of times there's a monetary dollar value attached to that extension for the certification. So if you're in the IT field, for example, and you want to maintain your level 1 or 2 or 3 IT rating for the military, you have to stay up to date on those certifications or get a higher certification, which then will create a brand new starting time for your annual update. But a lot of times those things cost money, and if you're not in active duty anymore, or if you're in a civilian job, maybe they don't pay for it and you have to pay for it out of pocket. Those things can be 50 to a couple $100, so they'll actually cover some of the maintenance fees as well. United States Military Apprenticeship Program. So again, this is like kind of a mini skill bridge kind of thing where they'll bring you in. If you're still on active duty, they'll allow you to complete requirements for whatever chosen field and give you certificates provided through Department of Labor. So that's another great one. American College of Financial Services, if you're interested in getting into the financial services branch or doing anything with financial services such as banking, wealth management, things of that nature, this is one for you. You'll learn about the different things you need to do for financial services. Underwriting is one of those where you're actually fulfilling the obligations to give somebody, say, a loan for a house or a mortgage or a business. So that's another good one.
Hey, John, real quick, I want to just add on here. So that military cool, I tried to do that program before I got out, and I got an email back from whoever the cool coordinators are. Specific. This is specific to like the Marine Corps. I'm not sure exactly if the Navy, Air Force do this, but they would not allow me to get on there because they don't support the officer side. It was only for the enlisted side and senior enlisted. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do all the cool stuff that they had to offer. I wanted to take a couple of leadership classes and get some certs and things like that, but I was not able to get on there. And even being prior enlisted myself, I even requested a waiver, and they're like, "Yeah, we're sorry, it's only for enlisted."
Okay.
So I tried to pull that prior enlisted thing, and they're like, "Nah, we don't support that."
Once you cross the
Hey, man,
tracks.
yeah, it ain't going back. You ain't going back. So yeah, I try to pull that as much as possible, man. Sometimes it works.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Sorry,
good
go
to know.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. Where were we at? I think we were at number 4. Yeah, number 4. Act Now. Now, this one's actually really interesting. So, they give you, it says here, they give you 8 weeks of job prep. They give you a tailored business suit, give you headshots, a resume, resume writing assistance, an employment workshop, mock interviews, and job placement assistance. That's pretty much an all-in-one, like one and done, one-stop shop right there. And then if you see at the bottom, they add in like industry exam vouchers for CompTIA Security Plus, Splunk, Professional Scrum Master, PMI, Project Plus, et cetera, et cetera. So that one's pretty good. And it also includes spouses and veterans. So not just active duty, but veterans and spouses as well. Let's click on that. Let's just go down this rabbit hole real quick.
Yeah, that's actually really good, man. I've not heard of that one before. That's great for anybody transition. They give you a tailored suit and headshots.
Yeah.
That's like perfect for like a LinkedIn thing, right?
I would do it for the
throw that-
tailored.
Hey, no pinstripe suits there.
So yeah,
No, that's
business
good.
suit, 3 industry certifications, professional headshot. Wow, nice, really nice.
Yeah.
And I guess I do cohorts. Really nice. Yeah, if you haven't checked
Yeah.
this one out, you should definitely go check this out. This looks very promising. And if you are in the Act Now organization, or if you work with Act Now and you want to come on and talk about this, we would love to have you on. Just reach out to us. We'll see if you're paying attention to the social medias, because if you're not, you will never hear us say this.
Yeah, and I just want to throw something out there real quick, because I went a different route, and I got a couple of tailored suits myself, and some headshots as well. So I went through several different organizations for that. There's an organization that I found on LinkedIn called Salute2Suit, and it's not free. They do have different packages, different sales packages for service members who are transitioning to the civilian side. Salute2Suit, I think I got like 3 suits. Can't recall what they came out to, but it was like nowhere near anything too expensive, out of pocket. What I paid for 3 suits, I would have paid for probably 1 suit somewhere else.
Nice.
And then for the headshots, I linked up with an organization that also I found on LinkedIn called Portraits for Patriots.
Yep.
So what they do is they link up with different professional photographers around the country, and you just sign up via their website, and they actually set you up with a professional photographer within your area. Yeah, that's the website right there.
Yep.
So I got linked up with a gentleman named Rich Souble here in downtown San Diego. Walked into the studio, completely professional studio, had all the lighting and camera set up and all that. And yeah, it was amazing. It was like within 30 minutes, we took like, I don't know, 100 photos or something. And he let me pick the ones that I like. The first one's free. The next one, I don't know, whatever they cost. I'm sure it's dependent based on photographer, but you can see the photo that he took on my LinkedIn. I still keep it as my LinkedIn profile. I just brought like a jacket and a dress shirt, and I put that on. He kind of positioned me in different ways, and he's like, smile, it was completely professional. I completely throw that out there for anybody who wants to do that. Portraits for Patriots. I'll even put it up here. There you go, Jessica. Yeah, Portraits for Patriots.
Yeah, and they're actually a really great organization. I reached out to them on LinkedIn sometime last year. We were actually scheduled to have one of their team members on the podcast, but we never got the coordination down for it. I'll probably reach out to them again sometime. But they're really good. I think Justin put me onto them. So
yeah, really good. I was getting kind of scared that you were scrolling through all those headshots and mine would show up.
Let's find out.
No. You don't have to.
Yeah, they're a really great organization. And it's cool because they partner with different photographers around the country and maybe around the world too. I don't know if they do anything in Europe yet. If they don't, maybe I need to sign up and be one of the photographers for it. But yeah, they partner with photographers around the country, and then they just set you up with an appointment. You just go and show up, and they do the thing. So it's really good.
Yeah, nice and easy. It wasn't hard to find parking here in downtown at all. So the studio was a little bit, towards the nice areas where the restaurants are and all that. So it was nice to like leave the studio, then go grab something to eat after, and then, go home. It was a good time. Nice. I really enjoyed that.
Let me move on to Service2Success. So again, if you haven't checked out that 3-cert thing, I would go check that out. It looks really promising, really good. And again, if you're out there in 3-cert land and you're part of the organization, and you want to come on and talk about your organization, give us some more information, reach out, let us know. Act Now Education Service2Success. It's similar to the 3-cert program, and they will give you training and prep courses with exam vouchers. You can get certified in information system security, CISSP, all those fancy, sexy cybersecurity words, PMI, project management, cloud or cyber related certifications. A lot of those things, and they also offer Coursera for free, which is another thing that Hire Heroes USA gives you, is Coursera for free. So Coursera is great.
Oh yeah, I love Coursera.
It's tons and tons of online learning. I would show you on my phone, but my phone's recording live things as well. But yeah, it's really good, and it's train at your own pace kind of thing, and you get really quickly up to speed on a lot of things. A lot of these things that we're talking about, it seems that they're IT related, and the reason for that is because IT is the big buzzword. 20 or 30 years ago, it would have been get in the door, get an IT position doing help desk, and then move on to networking, and then move on to server administration, or one of those things, right? Somewhere around 10 years ago, things started flipping over to more cyber related, especially as it became more prevalent in the news. Cyber attacks were bigger and bigger, and the US military actually took action and created a whole entire, not branch, but a whole entire sector just for cybersecurity in all the branches. So it's very relevant. And if you're looking to pursue a career for the next decade, 2 decades, like cybersecurity is definitely where it's at right now for sure, because even with the big boom of cybersecurity and everybody's talking about it, like if you go to your specific city or big city near you and go to like the Chamber of Commerce and sit in on some of their meetings, like they are actively, constantly looking for cybersecurity professionals to do penetration testing, to do things like monitoring the network, tracking down cybersecurity attacks, doing forensic investigations on cybersecurity attacks. Like there's just not enough people to do it because it's not an easy job. It's pretty demanding. It's pretty technical and difficult. But once you get in the door of it, I think you can navigate your way around it. And it's just a matter of figuring out what part of it that you really enjoy and just gravitate toward that and get certified things. So if you like taking apart, cybersecurity bugs where people drop malware and stuff, and you want to dissect malware and figure out how it works and reverse engineer it, you can do things like that. So.
And it's also a great way to explore remote jobs, because a lot of these can be done remotely. I know the company I work for, they're constantly putting out openings, and a lot of them are remote ones because they have to deal with cybersecurity or just something that requires some kind of security online. Obviously, you can't be like an office manager online. I suppose you could, but a lot of jobs are not looking. A lot of organizations are probably not looking for that. So yeah, this is a great entryway to get into like remote jobs if that is what you're after.
And I'll just throw that on the screen. Dewana
Mhm.
commented about Voc Rehab. That's a good link. So
Oh,
if you
there you
need
go. Yeah,
Voc Rehab stuff, some other Voc Rehab stuff out there, lots of Voc Rehab stuff out there, actually.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Dewana. I appreciate it.
Yep. Really, really nice. All right, let me move on
Empower.
to Empower.
I've not heard of that one before.
Yeah, so basically, again, it's a skill bridge type of thing that you can sign up for. 16 weeks long. They do instructor-led training, do internships and certifications, mentoring, job placement assistance. But again, it is definitely geared more towards IT, cloud computing, cybersecurity type things, which is here in the text. You don't need me to read it off. But again, a lot of people are transitioning. We talk about it multiple times on here on the show of even spouses who are moving from, say, finance to cybersecurity or whatever job you happen to be in the military and moving to cybersecurity. It's definitely the sexy job to have, and lots and lots and lots of job opportunities out there, tons, and it pays really, really well. So we've talked about this one, number 7, Onward Opportunity. This is through
Oh, 2
Syracuse
oh.
University. You're actually signed up in the current cohort. Is that correct?
I'm signed up for the May cohort for the PMP, the project management certification. So they require you to take an hour introductory course. It's just talking about the class and what you're going to expect, and then afterwards you sign up for a cohort. And goes usually about every 2 months or so. Once you get in there, they require 5 days of your time, 5 straight days of your time, uh, to take the PMP course, and that's not via Onward to Opportunity. That's actually the PMIA doing that, so it's kind of hard to reschedule that or just show up to like 1 or 2 days. They require the 5 days, and after that, you have 90 days to actually take your examination, your PMP examination. Um, from I from what I recall, it was you can take 2 practice tests, or they require you to take 2 practice tests with O2O before you actually take your actual PMP test. I assume that they want to make sure that you are actually going to pass the thing if they're going to pay for it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. So May is the next one. If you haven't done so, if you want to jump on that May one, it's coming up quick. So make sure you get on the website and sign up.
Yeah, and it looks like they have other things. So if you're looking for Project Plus or CompTIA, any of the CompTIA certifications out there, a little side note that I'll just throw out real quick.
Mhm.
If you happen to be in a cohort, or if you've been in a cohort recently and say you have an extra, because what you'll end up doing is get 1 or 2 practice tests that you can use. Maybe
Right.
you just did the training and then you went straight and took the test, right? Meaning
Mhm.
you essentially have 1 or 2 practice tests available. If you have those available, if it's for the PMP certification, if it's for Security Plus or something like that, and you have an available practice test, you can actually, in most cases, gift or give away those practice tests to other people who may be doing the training, going through the training, or they need a practice test and they don't have one available. You can actually go into your account on a lot of these places like CompTIA. I know the SANS courses do it as well, where they give you some practice testing and things like that. And you can actually
Right.
send those or give those away to somebody who may need one. So don't be afraid to put that out there if you've got practice tests available and you're just not using it because you already did the certification exam and you passed. Um, be sure to let people know about that, especially if you're in groups like the military retirement group or if you're in some of the technical groups out there on Facebook or other groups on LinkedIn, and you have things like that available, let people know. You'd be surprised how many people jump on it and like raise their hand really quickly.
Oh yeah, what better way to get the word out and help the next person retiring or transitioning over to the civilian side?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. All right, what do we got here? Purdue University Northwest. What is this one about?
This is similar to the Syracuse University thing.
Mhm.
Again, cybersecurity certifications, artificial intelligence, digital forensics, and then, of course, the gamut of CompTIA security. But this is also a way to, and just so we don't forget, the Syracuse University thing is just for one certification. Like you can't just go and take 17 certifications with them. You get one. So you have to pick one and then you do that. I'm sure Purdue is probably similar in their
Right.
way of distributing these things. So you just go to the website, you sign up, and then you can select a certification path that you want to go down. And then they'll give you the training, they'll give you the voucher, and allow you to take the certification basically for free. It says all American citizens and permanent residents. So that's not really locked down to just
Just the veterans, huh?
military folks, huh?
Well, look at that.
Interesting.
So is there a cost? Do you know if there's a cost associated with this
Let's find out.
to apply?
So here, oh, okay. So they got one track for just U.S. citizens, one track for military law enforcement.
Okay.
Uh, you have to complete an assessment, which is an English assessment, STEM math assessment, and an IT assessment. So you have to have a little bit of a background in STEM and a
Right.
little bit of a background in IT. So that's a prerequisite. And then course enrollment. I don't see a cost associated with this.
Maybe it's one of those that they don't give you the cost until you actually apply for it, and they have somebody set up all the information for you. They contact you, etc.
It looks like, at least from here, from what I'm reading, if you get a 90% or higher on the post assessment, then they'll give you a voucher.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
So I noticed that a lot of these organizations are pushing a lot of like the cybersecurity, CompTIA, TIA. You know, they're pushing a lot of this stuff. It goes to show you that there be a big need for this stuff, especially as we're heading into the future. Technology is advancing. You got a lot of veterans who are very savvy with this technology. Kind of goes to show you a lot of this stuff is gearing towards that. So if you are tech savvy, if that's something maybe you want to get into right now, is probably the best time to do it, especially since there's all these programs at your fingertips.
yeah, like I said, there's tons and tons and tons of cybersecurity jobs out there. It's
Oh, yeah.
one of those things where you either like 100% fully enjoy it and you want to do it for the rest of your life, or you don't. And then the secondary part of that is, do you have the aptitude to actually do it? So if you're
Yeah.
computer savvy, if you're tech savvy, even just a little bit, building the skills to be able to do some of the cybersecurity stuff is not that far removed from just being tech savvy to begin with. If you have an affinity towards sitting in front of a computer and doing nerdy stuff, like if you do programming or if you build websites or whatever, like you can take that and transition a little bit further down the path into cybersecurity things.
Yeah.
It does take a little bit of time to get there, but like I said, the job market for it is just wide open right now. It's
Oh, yeah.
been that
It's
way for
immense.
many years. Yeah, I used to, when I was working in Atlanta, um, there's an organization, a nationwide organization that does cyber and IT tech conferences regularly.
Yeah.
And I went to a couple of them downtown Atlanta while I was on active duty. And I took a few people from my shop to a couple of those little conferences that they have once a month.
Mhm.
And yeah, you've got the Department of Labor for Atlanta and just like all these different city governmental offices there representing themselves and handing out business cards and like looking actively for people.
Right.
It's really strange, but that's the lay of the land right now. And cyber is not going anywhere. It's going to get
It's
more
going to
and
get
more.
huge.
Yeah, as we start unlocking some of these AI tools and start unlocking some of this deep fake kind of technology that's already out there. It's not like we're waiting for the technology to get there. The technology's already there. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
things
if you have
happen.
some kind of specialized, if you have some kind of specialized job in the military right now that transitions directly to the civilian side, like specifically, I know some folks who are, they have very, very niche specializations, and these guys are getting paid very, very well up in the six figures, 200,000 plus at my organization because they have this niche specialization when it comes to like cybersecurity, like ethical hackers or just because of the way things are going in the world, right? With, world, conflicts, things like that. The US is employing a lot of these folks, or these contractors are employing a lot of these folks, and they're throwing a lot of money around. So be aware of that.
Yeah. I would equate it to, at least from the Army side. I don't know if the other branches did this or do this
Mhm.
currently or have done this in the past, but
Yeah.
on the Army side, we do this thing where we build up this big, huge force, and then we break it down into these smaller task forces, and then we reconsolidate it and combine it back into this huge force. That's kind of what's happening in cybersecurity. Is
Mhm.
we're trying to fill the ranks, get as many people as we can, and as we do that, then we break it down into like digital forensics. It's a whole entire thing by itself, and maybe becomes its own like branch of cybersecurity, which technically it is.
Yeah.
But then you have this expanding and contracting of cybersecurity professionals because the landscape changes so quickly and so rapidly that you have to be able to. It's literally like digital warfare. Like you're doing a military job on a keyboard, basically, even if you're working in a civilian organization, because you're actively tracking hostile people who are trying to break into these networks, who are trying to do malicious activities, and it's ever changing, right? So,
Right.
it's the common foot soldier combat on the ground, straight up tactics to, looking out for IEDs that are triggered with cell phones. It's that kind of shift. So.
Yeah. And if that's not your job in the military, and that's something you're interested in, there's nothing stopping you from actually getting the cert or starting the cert and then going to say like your Intel unit and asking them if you can do like a side by side, or if you can help out in any way, just to kind of almost get into an internship position while you're still active duty. I know I did that a couple of times with a couple of different units just so I can get some exposure to what potentially I might want to get into. So that's a good way. I mean, just that's also a good way of networking as well. So I'm just going to throw that out there. It's getting outside of your comfort zone, getting outside of your specialization. If you want to jump into something else, will work wonders for you.
Yeah, especially if you're doing an active mission, like if you're doing a training mission or if you're doing a deployment, if you
Yeah,
still got a deployment or two left in you, a lot of
yeah,
times you'll get on the ground and that'll be kind of the case, right? You bring 50 people, they're all there slotted to do these specific jobs, and then you get on the ground and you realize, oh, we don't have enough IT folks to do the
yeah.
IT stuff. Who's got an IT background? And you literally just raise your, like, that's literally how I got into IT.
That's
I
it.
went from
That's it.
signal to IT just like that on a deployment because they were looking for people who had computer backgrounds. So I just
Yeah.
raised my hand, and then I spent 6 months on that deployment doing IT stuff. So
I did that with Lean Six Sigma. So I
yeah,
went through my green belt course, and then the master black belts. I jumped on an email chain, and then the master black belts emailed me saying, "Hey, look, we got this upcoming project. You mentioned you want to get exposure on it for your black belt in the future. Do you want to jump on this project?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." So I was able to see the inner workings of how everything works, statistic wise, and it was a huge eye-opening experience, especially with learning from the yellow belt at the beginner level all the way to like what the master black belts do. It was definitely eye-opening. So yeah, get involved in different specializations outside of your area of expertise for sure.
Yep. And then I think, yeah, we'll just hit number 9. I'm glad because I was going to
Yeah.
stop at number 9 either way. uh,
Agile for patriots.
yeah, agile is another one of those buzzwords in the industry. Um,
Very much
it's
so.
basically project management certification or project management style. If you don't know what agile and scrum is, just go Google it. It's really just a way to take a big project and break it down into these little bite-sized pieces and then be able to stack those pieces, week after week, month after month, and focus on the small pieces versus focusing on the whole big project and trying to succeed the mission of the project by focusing on the mission of the project rather than focusing on the little tasks that need to be done along the way. So Agile and Scrum are very, very useful certifications, especially if you're doing project management stuff, or if you're doing just regular management stuff. You can definitely leverage Agile and Scrum. I'm doing some work with a nonprofit right now, and the way they're doing things before was really just it's called waterfall, which is basically that trickling down timeline that you see on a lot of I won't say commanders briefings, but basically you're just connecting one task to the next task to the next task down the line so that you can fill up the space of the 365-day planning cycle or whatever it is. This is more focused on little bitty bite-sized pieces, and it also creates a level playing field of visibility so that everybody in the organization knows what everybody else is doing. It makes things really transparent. So if you're going to be managing a team or managing a project or moving into like a C-suite or moving into some kind of position like that, these are really good skills to know and really good skills to be able to get your team together and get them on the same page and get them moving all in the same direction and doing it without just looking at the 10-year goal of getting this thing accomplished. So
Right. So years ago, John, I was talking to a leader of mine, and he had mentioned, what are you looking to get into after the military? Because I had mentioned, like, maybe at my 15-year mark that I wanted to retire, and at my 20 years, right? And I mentioned to him, hey, maybe something in project management. And he's like, okay, explain why. And this is just a back and forth conversation. And I mentioned, because I take on projects all the time. And I feel like I do good at them because I complete the mission. Everything's done in a timely manner. I collaborate with different stakeholders and different areas. He's like, okay, I understand that, but understand also that projects and project management within the military and actually having the cert and completing projects in the civilian side are different, are completely different. Because people do rely on the certs. People, they look at that, and I didn't have any certs at that point in time. And I looked, I actually listened to this guy. He was a reservist, and he just one of the leadership folks in my unit. And so he did project management on the outside. So I thought I'd ask him, pick his brain a little bit about it. So I thought to myself, that's true, especially looking from the outside in now, from the civilian side. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have got these certifications a little bit earlier, because he's right. We're doing program management in the military, whereas project management requires a certain level of education and expertise. So that's something I'm working at right now with the PMP, and finishing my master's in project management, things like that. I really want to get into that world. I just wish I would have done it sooner.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's a prerequisite too to have some kind of project management experience to bring to the table when you do the PMP certification or some of these other certifications.
Yeah.
Um, so you do have to have kind of like a record of having done some projects in order to use that as a kind of leverage point and kind of like a pre-work for the certification. And you know that because you're getting ready to go through it as well. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've read the PMBOK from front to back already 2 times.
Yeah. And the good thing about the onward to opportunity is I have somebody in my current unit, or the organization I work with, who has done it already through O2O. So I was requesting information from them, and they said, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about looking through Google for all the all the project management study guides and things like that. O2O will give you everything you need, so you'll have more than enough time to study this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of gave me the warm fuzzy because I was about to go out and buy a book, and they're like, they give you all that stuff. Don't worry about it. So that's definitely good about the organization.
Yeah, and I just threw something up real quick from Chris, and I actually asked him in the chat, like, what is his actual retirement plan, considering PMP as a short skill bridge. It's not a bad thing to do. I mean,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's for everybody, but at the same time, like if you're going to be moving into a managerial type position, it doesn't hurt to be able to understand how to direct traffic. Okay. School
Right.
full time. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, school full time. And just so you know, I'm doing school right now full time as well. I just signed up, just started my classes again, trying to finish up my degree.
Mhm.
And there's definitely room if you have the time. There's definitely room to do these kind of certifications on the side. You can do your own training. You can sign up for some of these Coursera courses and run through it yourself. You don't necessarily need to be in a program to do it. It definitely helps because you're around people who are also going through the same struggles and going through the same process of learning the information as you are at the same time. So you've got people to bounce ideas off of, but you can get into different groups like on Facebook, or I'm sure there's some Reddits out there for project
Oh yeah.
management.
Oh yeah.
So
There's a ton. So I'd say also with your whole retirement plan, just make sure it aligns with what you want to get into. So, for instance, for me, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so I jumped on like OSHA courses to get safety certifications. I even reached out to the warehouse folks, the logistic folks, because I figured, I don't know what I want to do when I get out. I don't know if anybody's going to want to hire me. I just had all this stuff floating around in my head. And I even went and got a forklift certification because I'm like, hey, maybe I'll be a forklift operator at Walmart or something until I figure out what the heck I want to do. And I jumped on way too many things. And then one of my mentors that I talked to who had already retired, he had mentioned, hey, look, focus on what you really want to do. So it's okay to not know right now, but just kind of pick one or two things that you really want to get into. So that way you don't feel like you're drowning and try to do everything at one time. So I took that, I wish I would have talked to him prior to me getting that forklift thing. And because I was all over the place. I was all over the place, dude. I just didn't know what was happening. Um, but it's true, you need to focus on what you want to niche down to.
yeah, but I do agree with your initial mindset of trying to try out new things. Like that's how you
Yeah.
figure out what it is you actually want to do, especially if you're trying
Yeah.
out things you've never tried before. It's sort of like that you're tasting different experiences, like when you're in your teens or you're getting ready before, going to college or actually in college for the first time at that early age. You're trying out a bunch of stuff. Like you're working at restaurants, you're working at uh, dog grooming places, and somewhere in that, working in different sections and doing different things in these different kinds of jobs, you may stumble upon the thing that you really enjoy in that process. So I don't really think there's anything super wrong with it. Like I think it's actually a really smart thing to do if you definitely don't know what you want to do,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
try out a ton of things. Like yes, have something in mind, but you may have went and did the forklift thing and been like, you know what, this is the most relaxing, enjoyable thing that I've ever done in my life, and I can see myself doing this like full time, like all the time.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it. I could work at Home Depot right now if I wanted to. It is a pretty chill job. I just aside from me dropping a bunch of boxes and toppling over pallets and stuff like that, they let that slide, but I don't know if I'd do it full time. A little part-time job would be all right.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Try everything you can. Let me see what we got here. For people looking, Dewana Brown had mentioned, let me see if I can put this up on the, here we go. For people looking into logistics and safety jobs, look into Amazon Pathways. And that's good too, because Amazon is a huge company and there's always people getting hired at Amazon to do different logistical things, warehouse, corporate jobs, etc. I know many people who work at Amazon here locally. It is a grind, though, from what I hear. So be prepared for that. Let me
Just trying to
see.
pull it up real quick.
Yeah,
Programs.
and you got 2 screens, don't you, John?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta get on that myself, man. I'm working off I still have my trusty old 2015 MacBook Pro, 13-inch screen.
Yeah, I had to steal the monitor away from my wife, the monitor that we had set up on the desk, the other desk. And immediately after that, she was like, "Yeah, it's fine. You can take it." I'm like, "Cool." And then immediately after that, I went on Amazon and ordered a second one and sent it to the house. It's like, "Look, babe, I got you a monitor." She's like, "I don't need it." I'm like, "Yeah, you do." She's like, "Okay."
I was looking at some monitors because I have a new desk set up now.
Mhm.
And I was looking at one of those huge curved screen monitors that
Oh, yeah,
I don't know,
wrap
30
arounds.
inches across.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really want one of those, but
Yeah.
they're pricey.
Oh, yeah. Even just the regular flat, like extra wide ones or ultra wide, I
Yeah.
think they're called. Those are still kind of
Yeah.
pricey, but they're really nice. They're really, really nice because you can put a ton of
Yeah.
stuff, a lot of real estate, a whole lot of
Yeah.
real estate.
I can go blind faster is what you mean.
You
Dude,
look up prescription more
you know,
often.
let me tell you something real quick. Let me just give you a quick story. I promised myself that I wouldn't go this route so early in my life, but I'm on the computer so much because I'm writing and I'm doing stuff that I actually went out and got some readers, man, some blue light readers. And God, I feel like I'm aging so quickly, but I need to take care of my eyes so I need to step away from the computer so often. But yeah, I got these guys now and I look like I don't know what the hell I look like here. Terrible, dude. I'm
Like
not that there's anything wrong with readers, right? But I didn't expect myself to need them so quick in my life, so soon in my life.
I'll tell you what, I've been using those blue blocker shades and I've been doing the blue blocker thing on my phone and my computer for many, many years. I started out with 20/20 vision. At some point I hit the point physically where my eyeballs just didn't work anymore. Like one day I was trying to read something. I think it was like on my phone, or maybe it was like on the back of something. I was trying to read a serial number or something. I couldn't read it. And I was
Right.
like, so I got
It's
my eyes checked,
time.
and sure enough.
Yeah, and here are my trusty Navy ones here.
Yeah.
God, what do I look like? Let me take those things off.
You can't I don't think you can. I don't think you can beat the loss of vision thing. Like it slowly degrades over time.
Yeah, it does. All right, let me see what we got here. All right, Dewana mentions that the job just wasn't for her, physically demanding. She was a regional manager. Started at 3 a.m. Wow. Yeah, and after you retire too, you want something that you want to do, right? I'll give you a quick example. Like I jumped into that contracting position. I work with supporting the Navy's mission now here in San Diego, and the job, I could not beat the hours for what they were giving me. It was like 8 till 3:30. I'm out of the office by 3:30, so I beat the traffic home. It's not bad. I get to go to my kids' baseball games. I get to see them at home. I no longer have those late nights like I did in the Marine Corps, where I'm working on investigations and cases until, I don't know, 1900, and then I'm driving home after that. Sometimes I'm even bringing work home. Being a contractor, I leave everything at home or at work. I don't bring any of that stuff home. I can get back into it the next day. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know about the 3 a.m. thing unless I'm getting off extra early, but I don't want it to be a grind anymore. I want to do something I want to do.
Yeah, I definitely don't like bringing work home, especially if it's I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
Those days are over. We're retiring now, or we're retired now. Those days are over, man. You get to choose what you want to do in life.
Nice.
You get to choose where you want to live too. That's a great part. No more moving around every 3 years unless you want to.
Pop this up on real quick, and then I'll pop something else up here in a second. Dewana said she's doing skill bridge with the Department of Homeland and San Bernardino, and she loves it. Really happy for you. I mean, that's a great gig. DHS is a really good gig. That's another one of those
I've heard good things.
That are always looking for people, that are always looking to fill job slots around the country. And so, yeah, it's a really good one. And it keeps you in government.
Dewana, did you find that on USA Jobs? And if so, like how long did it take you before you actually got word of an interview and then got onboarded with that? Or I'm sorry, that's a skill bridge. I'm sorry, that's never mind. I was getting ready. I was like, give me all the information you got, because I've been looking at DHS myself.
Just put in my 4187. That was it. Easy peasy.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? I blame it on not having my readers on. That's what it is.
Yeah, put some readers back on. I heard good things about Amazon AWS, which is their big server and online storage service. They have contracts with most of the big 3-letter agencies and DoD. You're absolutely right. And Amazon, I want to say, so Amazon for sure, meaning Amazon Cloud and their IT stuff. They offer a lot of free training for military folks and veterans.
Yep.
So you can definitely just go online on Google and search for Amazon military AWS training or whatever. They have a ton of stuff out there. I see a lot of stuff posted on LinkedIn about it all the time. I believe Google Cloud is also one of those organizations that offer a lot of free training to military and veterans. And then there's one other that I'm trying to think of that I can't think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, some of these bigger organizations like Amazon, they're always looking for AWS cloud people and people who know how to do cloud computing and those kind of IT skills, which are also very, very in need. So we don't have people in the East Coast hitting the wrong button and shutting down the whole East Coast grid for 2 days.
And John, if you could, can you bring up the online career fairs that we put into our document?
Yep.
Just to kind of share with the folks who are looking for something, who are they're trying to get their foot in the door with some kind of organization. There's a few out there coming up in the next week or so. Yeah, there you go. March 2024. Let me pull it up on my side. That's a little small for me to read as well.
Yeah, I can try to make it bigger. Let me see if I can.
Or that first one is online. If you could just click on that first link.
That was the one that's right here, right? That should be it.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah. So this is a virtual career fair happening on March 19th. So in about 2 days, if anybody's interested, have your resume ready and be ready to talk to some folks, because they put you out in breakout rooms. If you haven't done one of these, they put you out in breakout rooms with some of the recruiters for the organizations. And then a lot of times I've heard of folks get hired on the spot. I don't know if that's one of these right here, but just be prepared for that. Come up, it's going to be on a Zoom, I believe. Just, wear something nice, get your camera ready, have no background noise, make sure that you can hear your have a good microphone on, or, your camera's good to go, and just be ready with a resume. I've done a few myself, but nothing good has come of it yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of these myself too. These and in-person ones both. And the difference with these is it's kind of like speed dating, right? You go there. I would block off all the time, and maybe even an hour before and an hour afterwards. So just block off the whole day if you can, because you're going to be interacting with a ton of people, and it's going to be really quick succession between people a lot of times. depending on how they have this set up, they have the breakout rooms, I would imagine, and then they also have the direct chats. So you can end up connecting with somebody, and then like maybe an hour later when they have a break or they're not talking to a bunch of people, they'll message you back and you can get into a deeper conversation with them about
Yeah.
things. And be sure to ask all the questions you need to ask, like whatever's on your mind, whatever you want to know. There's no dumb questions, because you need to get your answers and figure out what you can look forward to, what's available to you, and things like that. So I would block off the day and be able to focus on this particular thing, because it's going to be a lot of interactions. Have your resume ready, have it in a PDF format if you can. Um, Even host it somewhere like a Google Doc. And so you can just drop a link to give them the link, and have your LinkedIn on there and have that link ready. I would just have like a sheet or a Google Doc or a notes on your phone or your computer, and just have these like links and this information ready so you can just shoot it to them directly in the messages on the chats that you get in.
Yeah.
And
And you know what we can do here, John, is all these links that we have for these upcoming recruiting or career fairs. We'll throw those things up on the military retirement group on Facebook, just so everybody has them. So if folks out there who are listening, who are watching, chatting with us, if you have not joined up the military retirement group on Facebook, please do so. John and I are the admin there. We can, grant you access on the spot. So not a big deal. And we'll throw up a lot of these links on there as well for the masses.
yeah, and if you're just listening and you're not actually able to watch the recording, yeah, you can just reach out to us. It's the military retirement group on Facebook. You just search that, or you can get into the chat or the comments and hit us up, or email us, or connect with us. However you connect with us, wherever you're at. So
Heck yeah. Do we have any other ones coming up? I don't know where everybody is from on the chat, but we have some, I think, on that same website in Philadelphia. I think there's one in Jackson. Yeah, there you go. Jacksonville, Florida, Washington, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I mean, they're all different locations. Um, just we could just throw that link up on the Facebook group as well.
yep, and I threw it in the chat as well. If you're still on and you're
Awesome.
still in the chat, drop us a note where you're at, like what location you're at.
Yeah, I'm curious to know where everybody is. I know
Yeah.
Dewana mentioned San Bernardino, so she's probably here in California. Let me see what else we got. Do we can you pull up one of the other ones as well? I know Boots to I forgot the name of the organization. Boost to Success, I believe it is.
Yeah, give
Boost
me
to
two-
Business.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Give me 2 seconds. All right. Is that it?
There you go. Yeah. They got some other business fairs or career fairs coming up as well.
And Boots to Business is part of the Small Business Administration, the U.S. Small Business Administration. So they do a lot of creating your own business, how to set up your business plan, set up for funding, get your charter in place, all those wonderful things that you need to do to start a business.
Yeah, they got something on their site called Service2Success Virtual Career Fair. And here, let me copy the link here.
Mhm.
I'll throw it down here in the comments. So this link is for actually registering for the virtual career fair. John, if you want to bring that up there real quick.
Yep.
So
They-
again, all the information that we can get, that we can throw out there for the masses to help out with getting you hired or life after the military. We're willing to do all that for you. We're willing to collaborate and through all the information. Doesn't matter if it's different organizations. We'll support the veteran here.
Yeah, and actually, let me pull this on the screen first, and then I will do something else. I was going to
There you
say,
go.
if you think it's useful to you, like reach out and let us know. Come in the Facebook group and let us know if we can do one of these weekend things live where we show you how to set up a camera, how to set up lights if you need to, how to use a microphone. Like if that's helpful to you, if you need to set up a virtual environment at your desk and you don't have one set up already, and you'd like some tips and tricks, we could actually go through that as well. I know it's not the core like audience thing. We're not talking about military specific stuff, but that's part of the process. Especially if you're looking for remote work, or if you're doing some of these virtual hiring fairs and you want to present yourself
Yeah.
in the best light possible, like you don't need to buy a bunch of stuff to look good on camera, or to get your setup right so that you have good audio, good video, those kind of things. So we can definitely do that. Just let us know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no hope for me, man. I never look good on camera anyway, so no hope. No, but you're the lighting guy, right? I mean, that's what you do. You're like the tech guy, the lighting guy. So you'd be the perfect person to talk to about this.
Yeah, I did a short little video, and again, it didn't really do anything because it's not like the core audience. But yeah, basic lighting stuff. Like I have one light that I literally bought the light for cheap. It's a gaming like kind of streaming light, and then
Right.
I built like a little light box around it and a little grid to fix the light so it doesn't spill all over the place, and it's directed directly at me. I built it with cardboard and some hot glue, and now I have a fancy like light box on it, but the original one I built was like cardboard, hot glue, a little bit of elbow grease. It doesn't take a lot if you're using. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, military hiring fairs. I'm actually looking to jump on some of these myself, so I may see you there. Well, I'm looking to mostly get into the federal positions, but I'm open to anything out there that can use my expertise in. I did legal operations prior to leaving the service, so not that I really want to get back into that, but I'm open to that. Hey, you're welcome, Dewana. Anything we can do to assist?
Yeah, and even simple things like you can get these little, not this particular one, but they have these little shotgun mics. You can get these little mics that you can plug into the bottom of your phone for super, super cheap on Amazon. This one's not so super cheap, but they have different versions of this kind of mic, which is a shotgun mic. And basically, you can just put it outside of the camera, like right above the camera, and point it at you. And if you're not using a
Yeah,
microphone like this, it'll give you like the best quality sound, because it takes the audio directly from you and it kind of mutes the audio around you. So it
right.
really gives you really good quality sound for not so expensive.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I'm all for bettering everything. I mean, that's why I put everything back here right behind me. Um, I might have to change them out every so often, but got some paintings, unit stuff. Let me see what else we might have on here. On the on our shared document, I had thrown up a couple things with tips on transitioning to civilian job market. We don't have to get into all of them today because I know we're kind of getting up there in time, but
Yep.
there are a couple good ones on there. So I don't know if you want to bring it up on. Yep, there you go. Perfect. Dan, you're quick, man.
I'm on it. Got the shit squared away.
Yeah.
Got the shamrocks hanging from the ceiling there, everything.
Yeah. You know what? I noticed that. I love it, dude. That's awesome. And the Eagles even wearing a top hat, a green top hat.
That's right.
Look at
And
that.
we changed the logo to green to match the occasion. So
Awesome. Awesome.
happy St. Patrick's Day.
Heck yeah. So yeah, go ahead and scroll down on that one really quick and see what they got. Start as early as possible. We already know that. I don't know what people's timelines are looking like. Looking like. But I mean, I started my transition about 2 years prior. I thought about it at my 15-year mark. I knew I wanted to make it a 20-year career because that was always my goal. And at my 18-year mark is when I actually started doing everything, doing the whole medical thing, making sure everything is in line, getting out of debt, getting all my finances ready for the upcoming retirement in 2 years. So what do we have next? Don't ride on a single bet. So yeah, I guess that's me going and doing everything like the damn, what was it? forklift thing and then getting my OSHA. I guess I was trying to tap into everything, right, to find out what I wanted to do. So that was probably a good thing. Not that I'm going to do it right now or it's in use right now, but it's probably a good thing that I did that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're all good, man. I mean, and jump in, John, as well, because I know you have a lot of experience in all this too.
Digital presence.
Yeah,
So I can talk about this really, really quick. This is something that we've struggled with for the podcast and the brand of what we're doing itself. Having it set up, having it consistent across platforms. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever you're on, and you have a digital presence and you want it to align with what you're doing, make sure you kind of keep it the same, like across all the platforms, as consistent as possible. Because if somebody sees you on Facebook and they see your picture on Facebook and your backdrop on Facebook, and then they go to LinkedIn and they just happen to scroll across something and they see the same picture and the same backdrop, they'll make the connection, right? So just keep that in mind.
And I'll add to that really quick. So LinkedIn is not the same as Facebook. All right. I see a lot of folks who put their problems, grievances, things like that on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more of a professional network. Facebook, of course, is Facebook with friends and family, things like that. There's a thin line between both of those, and I try to keep everything professional on LinkedIn. Not that I talk anything crazy on Facebook, but just understand LinkedIn is a professional network, and I'm sure everybody out there knows this already. And Facebook is more for friends and family. So make sure that you put your best foot forward with that.
Transition plan, and we talked about that with Chris as he was talking about what he was trying to do and what he planned on doing, going back to school and things like that. So have a plan in mind, but also don't be afraid to deviate from the plan or get on a side quest once in a while if you need to.
Yeah. And we have timelines in the military retirement group as well. If you need like an outline to start, go in the files tab on the military retirement group and check those out. And you can always add on to that, just like John mentioned.
Spread the military lingo.
Yeah. So this one was big for me, especially with the resume. So I had sent my resume out to several folks who I trust, and I asked them for constructive feedback on it. And I was not ready. I'll put it that way. I was not ready. They were like, yeah, your resume sucks, basically. There's too many acronyms in here. Nobody knows what an NCO is. Nobody knows what this means, that means. I need to shed that. And a good way to do that was tap into things like artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, things like that, to help you in constructing your resume, to make it more civilianized. Because if nobody knows what you're talking about, nobody's going to really hire you or take a second look at you. They're just going to move on to the next resume. I mean, these organizations get hundreds of thousands of resumes for any job. So you need to be on your game when it comes to that. Self-promote, that's a huge one. LinkedIn is huge, is good for that one, as well as in-person networking, like going out to, there's like veteran beer clubs, there's job fairs. You know, I was always told to know how to present yourself in like 15 seconds, kind of who you are, what you've done, and what you're looking to get into in the future. So kind of three main things. I also had I wish I had one on me. Probably for the next show I will. It was a little business card, right? And I would give it out to folks when, I just last minute heard about a job fair or something like that on the base. I'd grab these little business cards instead of like my resume, and it had a little QR code on the back of the business card with a link to my LinkedIn page and a couple bullet points on what I can offer the organization. The front of it had my picture on it with who I am and what I'm trying to get into. So kind of like a little resume on a card, if you will.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, I mean, this isn't a QR code to anything, but you can just get these QR codes made. If you need one made,
Oh yeah.
that links to a resume, or if you want to get your resume and put it on a QR code and be able to give it to people as a QR code, let me know. Maybe I can help out. I'm not going to do a bunch of QR codes for everybody. It's not going to meet my business model, but I'll definitely I'll help out where I can, because I can probably set that up for you pretty quickly. So if you need a QR code for your resume stuff or for a job fair, hit me up, reach out, let me know. I think I might have just put my foot in my mouth when I said that.
Oh, you better get ready, John. I'm trying to find this thing that I made. I don't know where the heck I put it. I had a bunch of these little business cards, and maybe I'll find it for the next one. And then we can put it up on the screen to let people know how to do it. Super simple, and I've gotten good feedback on it.
Yeah, I even made them for my command before. So like put the command logo on there, and then that links like to the command webpage and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're really handy, especially when we were in COVID times. They were really, really handy. But now they're still handy, especially at job fairs. A lot of the companies will actually give you like a little coaster or something that has a QR code on it where you can go and apply and get to the links that you need to get to. So they do the same.
Everything's QR codes now. Everything. All right. Number 7, explore every opportunity you can think of. I guess that's different from what the guy was telling me, like narrow down your niche, right? Yeah. Try different things. You never know what's going to stick. What we got here, highlight your military accomplishments. So I was always told that you don't really want to put any like medals that you received on your resume or anything like that. Nobody really cares that you got like a Navy Achievement Medal or something. But as far as, something like numerical, like, hey, I ran a $10 million budget or something like that for this thing or that thing, or I increased sales, or I increased, something 80%. You want to highlight those things, I was always told.
Yeah. And try to make them relevant to the actual job. Like if you managed $10 million worth of equipment and took care of it and there was no loss of equipment, there's ways to word that in civilian terms. But if you're applying for a job that's like data entry, I don't think anybody cares about how much equipment you keep track of. So make sure it's relevant to what you're actually applying for.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to say yes to the first opportunity. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And real quick story with that. I received my first, the first thing I applied to when I retired. It was I won't throw the organization out there, but it was a very well known organization. They were looking for a director of marketing, and I had some experience in that in the past. I applied for it. I did an interview, and then I got a call back a few weeks later saying that they would like to hire me for their gift shop. And I'm like, what? Just things didn't add up. I'm like, what? A gift shop? What the heck? So, I obviously didn't take that. I felt, not that I felt like I was above that, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that, I'm applying for a direct position. I'm getting a gift shop. I'll move on to the next one. I told them, no, thank you. I'll pass on this. And then I went with my second choice, which not my second choice, but the second place I applied to, which I'm currently working in right now. So yeah, you don't have to say yes to the first opportunity or every opportunity. It's okay to wait for the next one, especially if you're retired and you have some kind of income coming in.
Yeah. And don't paint yourself in a corner either, right? I mean, if you've got things set up and you do some of the things that we talk about, like paying down your debt and getting your household in order before you retire, you come out on the other end of that in a decent financial place where you can actually wait for things and say no to things that you don't really want to take.
That's right. That's right. And make a strong first impression. So this one's huge, especially with these career fairs coming up, these virtual career fairs. quick little background on this one. I had some experience in hiring panels while I was in uniform. We had a hiring panel for what was it, like a GS-12 position that we were trying to bring on. And we had probably 5 applicants that were chosen. And at the end of that, we got emails back from several folks saying they couldn't make it. So we interviewed 2 folks. The first guy, I put him online. I put him on the actual Zoom or stream or whatever, MS Teams, I think we were using. And the guy showed up in a t-shirt, hair kind of messy. He was a younger guy. And, the t-shirt was kind of like wrinkly and pulled off to the side. And then before we actually started the interview, I asked him, hey, look, do you need like a minute or something, to get ready or anything like that? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, oh, all right, very well. The next guy we interviewed showed up in a suit, even though it was a virtual interview, and very well spoken, hair, done right. So we went with the guy with the suit because not only did he have the experience, he also looked professional in the part. So yeah, definitely show up with your best foot forward.
Yeah, all the interviews that I've done online, which pretty much is all of them so far, I always wear a suit, even when it ends up being just a telephone interview. Like they send me a Teams link and then everybody gets on and nobody has their cameras on. Like I always have a suit on no matter what, period.
I hate when they have I hate when the cameras are off. Like if you're expecting me to have my camera on, please have your camera on.
Yeah. You would think a Teams would mean put your camera on, but yeah, I've been actually doing that since I was about 16. Actually, I had a not so great suit at the time, but I would literally go to like Best Buy and apply and do the interview in a suit, and they'd be like, "Why are you wearing a suit?" And I'm like, it's professional,
right?
So, or at least a shirt.
You definitely want to look professional. All right, so I think that was all of them, right? For those 10, It was just 10,
and then the rest of the days just wear a t-shirt and just chill. The days that you're not interviewing.
That's it. You're retired, right?
Yep. Chill, bro.
Well, yeah. Well, good stuff, John, man. I really appreciate this live stream we had, man. We had some good information, some good questions on here. Covered a lot of good stuff with, the virtual hiring affairs, 10 things that where you can put your best foot forward on getting out and interviews and things like that. A little bit about federal jobs and, things like organizations like Salute to Suit and Portraits for Patriots, where you can get your portraits done for free. I do appreciate coming on this and sharing all the good information with all the veterans, service members who are transitioning from military civilian side, because it is a heavy lift. And we want to make sure that we support you in that heavy lift.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody showing up. We're just trying to put out as much good information as we can in a timely manner. And we also want to be able to connect more with the audience. So this is why we do this live thing, so that we can connect, we can answer your questions on the spot so you don't have to wait. We can get to know you a little bit better. It's just a little bit better way to interact with the community and interact with the veterans out there who are looking for resources, who are looking for somebody who's going through the same struggles, somebody who knows, who's been through it and knows what's going on with it. And then, of course, some of the things that we don't know, we look up and we pull it up online and we do it live. So that way we can show you like it's not so super complicated, and maybe you're one step away from getting the answer that you were actually looking for, and we just take you over that step and get you to that answer. So
that's right.
But we appreciate everybody listening in, tuning in, watching. If you were able to watch, if you're not, you can always check it out on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. The videos are there, and you can rewatch this if you need to. Go back and get the information you need to get. If you do have any future questions or recommendations for future shows, if you want us to do a show on a specific topic, let us know. If you're in the Facebook group, that's the best way to get a hold of us. So go to the Military Retirement Facebook group. You can check out Victor's YouTube channel, The Green Logbook. That's his documenting his last year in the military prior to exiting and retiring.
That's right.
And you can find us everywhere on the internet. So iTunes, Spotify, or out there. Reads Across America Radio is where you will hear this replayed on Wednesday evenings. So the live show is on Sundays. Reads Across America, you will see it or hear it on Wednesday evenings.
Awesome. Well, it was good to hang out with you, John, and everybody else in the chats. Look forward to doing this again next Sunday.
Yep. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody out there. Thanks. And till next Sunday.
All right. Out here.
All right, man. Take it easy.